Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're doing another classic review, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, my childhood, my favorite Dreadnought, Torch. Now, I don't know why he's my favorite, but he's always been my favorite. I always looked at Buzzer as the leader when Zartan wasn't there, but Torch was always my favorite. And to be honest, he's probably the worst one because of how his actual blowtorch is. When it's actually plugged in, he can barely move the arm around because this thing is just twice as thick as Flash's little part of his weapon. Why this wasn't just another hose, who knows? But the hose is all molded in, and it pretty much keeps his hand in the same position. We're going to take a look at this guy. I want to hear who your favorite Dreadnought was. Was it Torch? I don't think many people thought Torch was their favorite, so I don't know why he was mine. Anyway, we're going to look at him, look at all the detail that was in this guy, because there's so much that we missed as kids. But before we do, we might as well just get into this. But please, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Alright, and now we have come to the final Dreadnought, Torch, who was my favorite Dreadnought. And we're going to take a look at him. Now, this guy came with the least amount of stuff. As you know, you have Buzzer, who came with a backpack that's separated with a jerry can, the chainsaw, and then his chain wielding weapon. You had Buzzer that came with a gun with a big old weapon on the front, and then his Jaws of Life and the backpack. This guy came with his torch and the backpack that had a lot of fluid in there to keep it running. So I always like to look at the accessories first, and we're going to take a look at the backpack first. So there is his there's the tube that's going to hold everything. It plugs directly into here. You can see how jacked up that is. So, but this is my original one, believe it or not. But you can look at the mechanics and see how it all fits in there, and I think it looks really nice. Now, this is probably the most problematic, one of the most problematic weapons that they've ever had. So we'll look at it, and I'll tell you what's problematic about it. So here's your torch. It's more of a welding torch. He can weld things together or unweld things or cut through things, I guess. It's got the grip. It also has the stock. I don't know if welding guns really have stocks, but it might come in useful. Now, his hose here is not something that's a rubber hose. Not like this. And it's also thicker than Flash's and Breaker's little piece. So, when you did plug this in here, the nice thing was, this one doesn't come off nearly as easy. It doesn't break off as easy. But it's very sturdy. And it either pops out of the backpack, like you see it doing right now, or it moves Torch's arm in a position that you probably don't want it, and you had a hard time posing. As a matter of fact, this one here is actually worn out from me installing it so much. So I should probably look for another backpack. Although, like I said, this is all my original stuff. As for Torch here, he has some wonderful feathered hair. He's got an awesome bandana, which I love how they put this to go through here. So you still have the hair kind of, at least on this side, falling over it. And then you have it tied right in the back. But you can see the detail in the hair, which I think it looks really damn good. All right. He's got those. He does not have the aviators. So he has those glasses. They're just kind of wrapped completely around. Very hot in the 80s, even into the 90s. He has a very unique mustache slash beard. So he has no goatee underneath here. It just connects. And then he has it shaven right underneath there. There he has his little collar. All right. Again, these figures are based off like a motorcycle gang and Mad Max. He has a skull chain that you sit right there. He has the open the open vest with no shirt, and yet he has these little pieces. Now, from my understanding, most of these are done when a biker is too big to wear the vest. So they have to make these connections so it actually fits in there, all right? But if you look here, you can see the design. That's exactly what's going to be holding on. It's all in black. In its chain, and that's what's actually holding on his backpack. All right. Looking at his arms, he has a little bracelet right there. He has some gloves. He has a very similar armband, just like Ripper right there, although he has a couple little designs on his, and then he has his black gloves, once again, with some sort of wristband across it. He has a very similar belt and emblem to Cobra Commander and or the Cobra Officer or Trooper that they have, the little triangle. You can see the belt loops, and it's kind of like a long chain type belt with a couple little pouches on it. And again, the belt loops mean a lot to me. It just shows off the detail, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go back and look at this type of stuff. Then you have this back pockets. You got a pistol right down here. All right, with a nice little, you forget these things when you're doing stuff, guys, I'm telling you. The holster right here, pistol hanging out here, but you do have the nice little belt, the strap that's holding it on along with the strap hinge right there. Then you got the very unique knife that's held on right here. And even down here, they made it so it's supposed to be a little bit more secure. But even here, you can see exactly where the, the latch is for the belt. All right, and then here, take a look at the boots. Again, very unique right here on the back. They go all the way up to his knees. This was a huge issue because people were mad that he had boots that went all the way to his knees in the classified version, only to look and go, oh, so does the original. All right. As for his articulation, just like the other Dreadnoks, his neck does not go down. He can only turn side to side. That's really weird because throughout this series, almost all the figures, if not all of them, have the neck portion that they can move down, which means these ones are probably in development before that, and then they came out with the rest of the series. Here he has his T-pose. He has shoulder swivel right there. All right. Just over 90-degree bend on the elbow, and then they all have swivel arm battle grip. He turns side to side. Due to the O-ring, there's his perfect L, and then you have his knees right there. As for arming this figure up, very easy, but once again, the most problematic thing does become this here. Now, a lot of it might have to do with, just want to be careful with this, a lot of it might have to do with this being a little worn, but again, you can see how sturdy this is. It moves around, and it's not going to stay in, and it never did. And I know someone's going to drop a link or drop a comment and say, I never had a problem with it. Why do you? Well, I'm assuming like most kids, I wasn't unique in the fact that this thing didn't stay in. And as a matter of fact, this one is so worn out that it's not going to stay. So, but anyway, there you go. That is your classic review of Torch, my favorite Dreadnought. All right, so there you go. That is the classic review of Torch, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, my favorite Dreadnought. Again, I don't know why. It's not like I had any connection to a guy with a blowtorch. It's not a flamethrower, but let's be honest, he was meant to go against our buddy Blowtorch. So, but anyway, I'd love to know what you thought of this guy. If you had it, maybe he was the one Dreadnought you didn't get. Maybe he was the only one that you did get. Maybe he was the only one you didn't want. Who knows? That's what I like to hear, the stories, because that's what we keep as we get older, are these stories that run through our head, and the things that we're never ever going to forget, and it's what's made our childhood. And hopefully it's something that we can pass on to our kids, that they can make the same type of memories that we made with our wonderful G.I. Joe or Motu or Transformers or Star Wars or whatever it is. But I'm going to go. I've rambled on long enough. You've watched, and I definitely do appreciate it. I'd also appreciate if you took a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. But right now, what I am going to do is just saying, that's one Dreadnought. There's a whole bunch. Well, I reviewed a few of them, including Buzzer, Zartan, and Ripper. And I'm going to leave Ripper right here, and down here is going to be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.